Rav when he did not forgive Rav, but simply did not wish to humiliate him.
That's the shot in another shliach.
So it's for Lishma and humility lower Shema.
That's what's going on. Another real humility is when you let it, when it doesn't bother you at all. Another shaloi lishma, the humility that's not real, is when it bothers you, but you don't tell him anything because you don't want to. You're making it look like it doesn't bother you, but really it bothers you. You're just not saying anything because you don't want to humiliate him.
Why is that bad?
Because they said before that if it was mitzvah, you don't.
Why is that bad?
Because the second one, you're actually judging him.
It says
you have no
Yochel
right to do. You're not in his shoes.
They said that you can't insult him. Yochel afilu mishtanei panav.
Right.
So you can't insult him.
So it's better.
Sounded like he did the right thing, Shalishma. Okay.
So now we're going back to what was the original question of Rabbi Yehuda Breder of Shimon Pazi. He was asking which one is better, to rebuke or to not rebuke, and consider it like humility.
There's different cases.
Any Moroccans in the house? No Moroccans? We're coming to the Moroccan Gemara. They're very strict on following this Gemara.
Taisva says that when Rashi writes that a Nava Shlei Lishma is someone that refrains from rebuke when he really should have, he says, I don't accept that pshat because such a person is a wicked person. What he means here is that he's listening to his own, he's enduring some sort of suffering from the other person, and he's letting it pass. He's not saying anything because of this false humility, which is possibly a positive thing, just to let it pass and don't make a big deal about it. Okay. Ad heichon teichacha. Until when should a person rebuke the other person? Rav Amar ad haka. Until the guy hits you.
So you shouldn't rebuke him until
You should rebuke him until he hits you.
So you mean
You just
he
keep
starts
going.
hitting you?
Yeah. Shmuel Amar ad klala. Until he curses you. Rabbi Yochanan Amar ad nazifa. Until he gets angry at you.
You're talking about the other person?
Yeah.
So he's so he's making him end up hurting him, cursing him, doing things that are not right, all because he wants to rebuke him. Then it sounds like that rebuke isn't being done appropriately.
Right.
Listen, doesn't enjoy the
So much for the friendship.
There goes William Hoover.
But is he enjoying doing the rebuke? Because then that's what I'm about.
Right. I hear you. I don't know if it means after you're hit. It means you're supposed to stop before he hits you, probably. That's probably what it means.
How are we supposed to predict?
Yeah.
How are we supposed to predict about that? When he goes
Sounds
like this,
like a
but then he's
better
already...
I don't know.
You're supposed to do it.
This is
I
your
think
own
it's saying-
judgment.
I think it's saying that because he doesn't want you to hit. He doesn't want
That's it,
like
man.
being very
I
for a
love
long
that.
time
Uh-huh.
or have bad feelings. So
Let's see, because we're going to have it. It's going to elaborate on this.
once you see that he's going to start hitting you, then you already got him.
Uh-huh. Kitanai. This goes back to a much earlier machlaikas. Rabbi Eliezer, Reimer Adaka. Rabbi Eliezer, you see, this was a machlaikas between Rav, Shmuel, and Rabbi Yochanan. Rav, Shmuel, and Rabbi Yochanan. This is first generation Amiran. The Gemara tells us. And Rabbi Yochanan. Rav, and Shmuel, and Rabbi Yochanan. Now the Gemara goes back to, says this is actually a machlekes between Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Yeshua, and Ben Azai.
Who's Ben
They didn't put Ben Azai on the chart. He was in the days of Rabbi Akiva. He was
Azai?
No, this is back in Israel. This is the Tanoim. So it took us back a few hundred years. It's a Lema Ketanoi. Let's say that this Machlokes already goes back earlier. That Rabbi Lezer says until he hits. That's how you should rebuke. Rabbi Shua says until he curses. Ben Azai says ad nezifa. Rab Nachman bar Yitzchak.
Rab Azai says until he's scorned.
Until he's scorned, until he hates you. Until he's like very upset with you. Reprimands you back.
Yeah.
Rab Nachman bar Yitzchak explains these three they learn it from one pasuk. It says Vayichar Afshol b'Yonasan v'Yermelei ben Navas Amardas. What happened was David doesn't show up at that meal. It was Rosh Chodesh, and Shaul and Yonasan gives an excuse to Shaul that it's his family thing or something. So Shaul gets angry at Yonasan and he says, "You're a rebellious son." And Shaul takes the spear to hit him. And then he realizes that Shaul wants to kill... first Yonasan thought that Shaul doesn't want to kill. Why should he want to kill him? And then David said no. And then when he took the spear to hit him, I guess to hit Yonasan. So then he realized...
To get it in this puzzle, how can Rabbi Eliezer say that he hit it?
Oh, so look at this.
I can understand Rabbi Yeshua until he curses. That might be like a curse.
So let's read it through. Lamanda Maradaka, according to the one that says until hitting, it says until he took it to hit him. That means that this pasuk is teaching that that's how much you do the rebuke until he's ready to hit. He didn't quote this. It says to your shame and the shame of your mother is when he's insulting Yonasan. Lamanda Marad Nazifa. Until he scorns you, the ksiv vayicharav Shaul, that Shaul got angry.
Why did he say Levosh Yasimecha?
Yeah, what was that referring to?
So it's very interesting.
It says, Saul said to him, "You son of rebellion, do you not know that I have chosen the son of Yishai to your own shame and to the shame of your mother's nakedness?"
Yeah, but what was that referring to?
The reason he said the shame of his mother.
Because Saul took up the spear to kill him.
No, but what was
the reason
referring to?
he said shame of his mother is because there was something called Pilegesh Bagiva. Pilegesh Bagiva, all Bnei Yisrael went against the Shevet of Binyamin, and there were only 300 males left for the entire Shevet, and they promised not to give wives to their daughters to their children. So as a result, the celebration of Tu B'Av was created, where they used to grab the women in the, not grab, they used to do the shidduchim in the vineyards. But from all the, Shaul was when he had to go, he was part of the 300. When he had to go, he was too shy. So everybody else went and picked wives, and Shaul sat in the corner. And his wife came to him, she picked him.
So that's what he's referring to.
So he said, you don't have the humility to follow your family, but you're taking after your mother's genes, that she went ahead and picked outside, and she didn't follow the regular genes.
Interesting.
Where does it say that? That's cool. Recall.
The Medrash says.
Somewhere.
It says the Shevet Binyamin, they could ride a horse backwards and shoot an arrow backwards, and they never miss.
I'm not surprised.
It took the whole Bnei Yisrael to do war with them.
You have a son, Benny.
Right.
I have a Masera word from Shevet Binyamin.
Oh, really?
No, I'm joking. No, but I have a Masera in my family that were from Shevet Binyamin, and my grandfather's name was Moshe Binyamin. His father's name was Peltiel, which Peltiel ben Raphael. So my name's Raphael. So I even see names from Shevet Binyamin, which I think.
Anybody who's seen Dr. Stein at the shooting range knows that.
Let's see you ride a horse backwards. Ride a Harley Davidson backwards. Okay. The problem is the one that says that he gets angry. Problem is, it says that he hit him and cursed, and it was ready to hit him and to curse him. So the Gemara says, "Shani hasam dagav chavivusi yisir dahavi beliyenusim bedavid maser nafshe tvei." That doesn't tell me the limit of how a person should give rebuke. That's over there. Yonasan went more than what he was supposed to because he loved David so much and he was protecting him. So the one that holds that once Shaul got angry, you should have stopped. So why did Yonasan continue more? That's only because Yonasan was so loved David so much, he was trying to protect him more. So that's why he went further above what he was supposed to do.
So that was that Lishma?
Yeah, in other words, it's answering how I can still learn the limit, the lesser limit from that case. How much should a person put himself through not to change his host? I was going to say, you shouldn't change your host. Why shouldn't you change your host? Because it's going to cause a blemish to you and to the host. People are going to say, oh, you couldn't get along. And then it looks bad for the families. And we learned from Avraham Avinu that Avraham Avinu didn't do that. But how much should a person put himself through to stay in the same place? This is important when you go for Tishrei or Gimel Tammuz to Crown Heights. So you got to go to the place that you went to. Rav Amar Adhaka, until the host hits you, then you could leave. Otherwise, you stay there. Shmuel Amar you feel like Caleb Lacharev until they start to throw your things
Or the
out.
wife hits you.
Some people won't do that. Some people have different ways of getting angry.
We'll see that 1 second.
Some people have different ways of getting angry. Some
Right.
people won't throw the thing there.
So it says over here, Bakadi de Kuli Amalei Pligi. If he actually hits you, that's not a problem. That everyone agrees he could leave. If they're throwing your things out of the house, also you could leave. Keep Pligi Bakad de Beisu. When he's hitting your wife, it's not the wife hitting, it's when the host is hitting your wife.
No, just your wife's not there.
So then
And also,
there's
if
no
you're
problem.
not married.
So Marsavar, this one holds Kimun Didele Mitzarele. Well, look, he's not hurting me. So my nafkula minay. What's the big deal? I'm going to say it. Marsavar Asi Letrude. It's going to become a huge problem here because there's going to be a fight.
There's a fight between him and the host or him and his wife.
Right. It's going to be a fight. But Kol Kachlama, why does a person have to go through this to put up with this? Because there's a problem. If you change your host, your lodging, causes a bad name for the families. People say, oh, look, what happened over there? Amar Rav Yehuda Amar Rav. What's the source of this in the Torah? When Avram came back from Egypt, he stayed in the places that he stayed on his way down to Egypt. It says that he went to his travels, and travels means that the places that he traveled the same way before.
Well, what does that say?
In other words, the same stops that he made, the same hosts the same inns that he stayed in. That's where he stayed on the way back.
He was getting frequent flyer points.
My binayo, you follow? In other words, it's saying that he needs to stay.
Is it because you know them better, so you?
Well, here it's saying that if you switch, then it looks like you got into a fight, and then it looks bad for you and for them. The surrounding people.
But who says you? I mean, that's if you're going exactly there. Like, let's just say you fly to Israel straight, and then you fly.
I assume if there's another excuse, then that's good also.
I mean, also because the money is money. Let's just say you fly from here to Cincinnati, and from Cincinnati to Israel. Let's just say, and then next time from Israel to Cincinnati is $10,000 more. But if you just go to New York, and then
Right.
it's a lot cheaper.
Right.
And people are going to think you had an argument.
Right. Right. No, you're probably right. If there's another reason, then you're right. It could be Naya. What's the difference between these two sources? One says where his tent was, Ela Makaim, to the place where his tent was. The other one says to his travels. It could be Naya Achsanai Dakrai. Depends if it was just a temporary lodging. According to the opinion that says his tent, that's only referring to where he was staying for a long time. But temporarily, you're going to stay for one night. That doesn't matter. That you can go. Amar Rabbi Yochanan. How do you know a person shouldn't change his job or the job of his father? That Shlomo took Chirim from Tsar, Beni Shalmana, whom Mimati Naphtali. He was a son of a widow from the house of Naphtali. And his father was a brass maker, a copper maker, coppersmith. His mother came from the house of Dan. And Aliyah was also a craftsman. That means that they continued in the crafts of their fathers.
But why, if you do that, then there's going to be a lot of
We'll
arguments.
have to stop here.
If you do that, then there's going to be a lot of arguments.
Page behind.
Because then let's just say he's doing the blacksmith, and you have to have a lot of muscle for that. And the next child can't do that, then he's
Don't get Ohel if anybody wants to
arguments.
name.
There's going to be a lot of arguments, like, I'm not able to do it, and he says this is what you have to do.
I think what it means is